You are watching Q2cast TV.
Okay, so the internet is gonna end us. Who knew computers would invent us? Who knew computers would invent us? Oh no, the internet is gonna end us. The internet is gonna end us. Yay! The internet is gonna end us. Who knew computers would invent us? Who knew computers would invent us? Oh no, the internet is gonna end us. The internet is gonna end us. But it's okay.
I'm gonna need so much Romulan ale to get through this.
You are watching Mad Men Cafe Live, only on Q2cast TV.
Broadcasting live from high atop his mountain fortress, the only place with enough altitude to hide from his creditors. He's the man who once tried to teach a toaster to sing the blues. And somehow, he got a standing ovation. Lock your windows, hide your sanity, and definitely don't offer him a map. Here is the madman.
Welcome to another edition of the Madman Cafe Live, high atop the fortress here in Staten Island. You know, we got a raid going on over there, the BBC raid going on. Keely Chow's in the chat. Thank you. We got a lot to unwrap on this episode. There's so much that's going on. Also, Snob will be a little late to the situation. So basically, we're going to have some fun before he gets here. But let me bring in Outpost Nerd already here.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It sounds like
He's always-
when Snob gets here, the fun's over. From the way you said
Yeah,
that.
PB. Hello, PB. PB's early this time. How you doing, PB?
What's up?
And of course, Keely's up in here too. Thank you guys for showing up on there. But like I said, there's a lot to unwrap. First of all, breaking news to the situation. If you haven't heard yet, looks like the SPLC has been indicted. An indictment has come forward from a grand jury. So that's breaking news out there. It's just now unwrapping on there. They just put it up on the website. So do check that out. So we should be hearing that from the mainstream media. Shrek 5 trailer for next year has the first trailer has already hit and doesn't look too good. Don't look too good. Has like he has two sons now too on there. But some good news to the situation. Of course, obviously, over the weekend, the New York Knicks won the NBA championship. If you didn't catch it, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. They won the NBA championships on the finals, first time in 53 years. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. Also, you got to put it to the point. Also, you have to thank the wrestler Danhausen, who allowed this to happen by uncursing the Knicks. Blamed on Stephen A. Smith. If you haven't seen that whole gimmick situation, that he cursed Stephen A. Smith for insulting him and basically put the curse on the Knicks. And then someone paid money, as they say, he paid human money to Danhausen to uncurse, and you can see what happened. But see, this is how popular this has become. This has gotten a life on its own with Danhausen. Danhausen has become very popular since he's come over to the WWE, and also to the point they gave him they had Nick T-shirts with Danhausen uncursed, but now the NBA store itself is carrying those shirts. Is this insane or what?
They know to make good money. They know what's going to make some money.
Well, the thing about it is the Danhausen T-shirts are the number one seller on the WWE shop right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's crazy. Now the NBA store, poof, you get to that point. Also, if you missed yesterday, because I know some people were talking about it before. We did do a quick video yesterday on the Roku possibly merging over with Fox. So if you haven't seen that, do catch that. It's out there. It's about an hour long. It's not that long. We go into it with a little bit on
Near
there.
the end of it, I rant so hard I started getting dizzy. I ranted so freaking hard.
Oh yeah, and there's still more to come on this. This ain't even over yet.
Yeah.
Yes, and before you ask, yes, I have Donut Shop Coffee by Chock full of Nuts today. So if Chock full of Nuts wants to send me some more, please do so. But a couple of other things that are going on. You know, crazy. You might say, you might insult the adult industry for this, but they know a good thing to do when, of course, they like to mimic the top movies of the year. And this movie is no different that they're going to be doing. Is going to be the Odyssey.
Good.
It's going to be the
Oh, I saw that. Jesus. Yeah. Surprised they didn't call it the Odyssey Your Ass or something crazy like that.
Yes, of course. That's what's going to be happening on, you know, and there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more coming. I wouldn't be surprised if they do Digital Circus, if they do, you know, Supergirl. Well, Supergirl they've done.
There
already,
are
so
a lot of
even before
IPs
this movie.
For lack of a better word, beaten to death.
Oh yeah, but see, they do it better than the current Hollywood. That's the funny part.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Actually, hello, nurses. But it's you have a lot of studio. I think it's Digital Underground. I think it's called. And then you got a couple others that are just doing it. And then you got the horror bunch now becoming very popular. You got the horror vamp, like the Slither type, the tentacle type. Now they're doing vampires, and those are becoming popular.
I wouldn't know about this because I'm a good Christian little boy.
What's saying? Speaking of porn, I miss watching Wes Moody's clean Star Trek for parodies. Yeah, those are good. Oh man! But speaking in that territory, where is that article? There is another article I wanted to show you, or did I lose that article? Oh, here it is. There's also, of course, a senator is introducing, and we're going to be talking about this on one of our Man with the Show videos. And don't take the title for what it is. And I'll tell you why. You see that it says anti-porn senator introduces federal verification. When you read into the policy that they're putting together, it says that, but it also says obscenity. And the thing about it is, most people don't realize this, is that what do you call, pornography? What do you call, what they're talking about? What's obscene to the point? And that's the dangerous issue, because it's so loose on these bills. Because what they're looking at is that basically they're trying to go back to the 70s, 60s, and 70s, or even further back to the Hays Code era, to try to get rid of all this stuff that they don't
This
like.
to me screams of what they're doing right now, what they just passed yesterday in the UK.
Exactly.
I was listening to a certain recovering alcoholic lawyer last night, and he went off on this, and I agree with him. When you take away social media from kids, you're taking away one of the main tools they have, one, to communicate, and two, more importantly, to report abuse or anything, because it's a lot easier to report abuse through social media than it is being watched, basically. I'm doing a poor I'm explaining his reasoning very poorly. But
No, it's okay. I'll put it into this perspective. Is you got the UK right now, and we're sort of going to be losing our under 16-year-old if you're on YouTube, which is ridiculous. Even the WWE is going to lose some of their viewership because of this. But a lot of these age verification programs don't work. Ask the Aussie kids. For the reason is, here's what's happening in Australia right now. A lot of the Australian kids, do you think they've been blocked from the internet? Hell no.
Definitely
They've
not.
written themselves with little mustaches and all that,
Yeah.
just the little disguises to get around age verification and all these under 16 bans. So there are ways to getting around this, besides VPNs, which Utah is trying to block right now. And basically, it gets to the point it's you look at it and they say they just want to censor. Jason had a whole big rant. If you watch Sci-Fi for Me TV, thank you for those who have come over from Sci-Fi for Me TV as well. About Doctor Who. He's saying, well, it's going to be maybe a couple years, 2028, 2029. There's not going to be a good Doctor Who until you get rid of this administration in the United Kingdom. You get rid of Ofcom, which is the bigger issue because they control the way you're seeing media and entertainment, whether it's the internet or on broadcast television. The thing is, you got to get rid of all these, paying for your antenna. If you have a TV, you got to pay for a license.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah, we got cable here, but we still got free TV over the antenna.
No, I think in like the UK, to physically own a television in your home, you have to pay a fee. You have to pay a tax.
Yeah. Now because they're changing the law, because it's like Az was saying, it says, well, they can't get me because I'm watching only Netflix. I'm watching Netflix, YouTube. Now they're changing that law. And I believe Az got a letter recently, like about a couple weeks ago. They're saying that he's going to have to pay a licensing fee. Which is ridiculous. Now they're going after stuff from outside. And the excuse they said, well, they carry our content on their system. Yeah. So that gives you the right to, just to say, hey, listen, I want to carry a buck. BBC, you dug yourself into a grave into the situation. You used to have I grew up with the BBC stuff. I grew up with the Monty Python. I grew up with all, upstairs, downstairs, mystery.
You do realize at the time those were considered like borderline. You couldn't say Fanny for like 100 years on the BBC up until like the 80s or 70s or 80s.
Well, you had blackface on the freaking Monty Python.
Yeah. The stuff that they censored. I saw a documentary about that. I need to find it again and send it to you about the utter insanity that the BBC would do. And it's like yesterday we were talking about the Fox, Tubi, and Roku merger and how the EU wants to force Fox to sell either Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. And you know what I got to say? If I was in charge of Fox, you know what I'd say? Fuck you. You're not going to force us to cut maybe a huge chunk of our revenue off just to please your ass.
Hey, Dave, how you doing on there? Thanks for showing up. Yeah, and that's a video that's coming out this week. We have Man with the Show. We are talking about the deal with, does Paramount have to, sell off one or both to the situation? It's crazy. It's insane to this nature on there that this is happening on there. But let's get a little started on this. Of course, obviously, got in the wrong frame. There we go. We know already what's going on. What PB say? Hang on a second before we go any further. You don't pay a fee to own a TV in your home in the UK. The law says if you watch live programming in your home, you have to pay the TV licensing fee. There we go. We got it.
So hold on then. If that means if you watch a rerun of something, do you still have to pay? But is it only live programs like live news or live broadcasts? PB, I'm not getting it. Maybe the concept is just so foreign.
It's if you're watching television. Think of it like right now. If you're watching, say, Cartoon Network, on there, you got to pay a licensing fee. Doesn't matter whether it's a repeat or if it's a new show or
Okay,
anything.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, on there. One thing that was left out was the internet. Now they're trying to drag the internet into that situation. You know, they're saying, "Well,
Okay.
our product is on Netflix, so we should be charging you." It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. But let's get into this. Paramount, Warner, the marriage that was coming is literally have been approved by the federal regulators on there. So basically, with the exception, and we're going to go over this a little bit onto their, point is now the next level is, of course, the states. And you notice the states that are doing this. Most of it are Democratic-led states that are doing this. And this has fully come across since Sunday. And you want to know why? Even though they said it a little bit prior to it, but they weren't going forward. Because you know what happened on Sunday?
No, I missed it.
What happened on Sunday? What was the big thing that happened on Sunday?
I don't.
UFC at the White House.
The White House celebration, yeah.
Right. Where was the UFC being broadcast on?
Paramount, wasn't it? Didn't you say?
Exactly. And the head, David Ellison, was at this event. So now they want to go after Paramount because they're thinking, "Oh, no, it's Trump. Trump is going to make money off of this, like he's making off the UFC situation." Now, understand, I don't like this merger at all. The Paramount-Warner Bros. I would rather not it happen. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. If it's been approved, the situation is the same thing with Disney and Fox, that's another situation. It's going to happen. But if you're going to sit there to politicize the situation and blame it on the president of the United States and saying that, oh, he's going to make money off of it, you guys need to look at within yourselves on how much stock that you have on certain companies that you've been making so much money off of for the last decades, to the point on there. Because that's what's going on there. And before we go to further, and speaking of mergers, because this is one thing I forgot to bring up, there are reports, since Netflix didn't win this, and they're not going after the Roku, looks like they're eyeing Lionsgate, which we're working on that report. So Netflix could own the rights to John Wick and Hunger Games. Figure that out. And considering that both Lionsgate and Netflix are building just across from us over in Jersey, what would that look like? Netflix owning two studios in the state of New Jersey under two different banners. That is insane. I mean, what are your thoughts, Outpost? Rant it, man. Rant it.
As I've said, I'm not a fan of these mergers. I believe I'm a capitalist. I believe competition breeds innovation. It forces you to. It drives prices down. When we see companies get government subsidized, we see quality go down while prices increase. That's like, okay, I thought of this example, and I wish Snob was here because I know he'd push back on me on this, which is fine. Say you have 3 farms. One grows exclusively carrots, the other potatoes, the third one squash. You despise squash. You're allergic to squash. You are if you eat squash, you will die. But the government comes in and says, we need more squash. We're going to force these 2 other the carrots and potato farms to shut down. We're going to turn them into squash farms. What's going to happen to you? You're going to die. You're going to starve. the quality of your life will cease, and that's what we're seeing when with all these companies mergers. That's what we see in monopolies. We see the quality of life and quality of the product go down, and that's what I'm afraid is going to happen in these. Oh, well, there's going to be less places you have to go. Well, that's that's a piss poor excuse. That's an excuse. That's a reason for low quality. Is That's like what Ben Franklin said. If you sacrifice your freedom for the sake of security, you deserve neither. You sacrifice quality for the sake of convenience, you deserve neither. And that's how I feel about these mergers. I'm like, you have to be careful about this, and I don't see them being careful. I see them, like I said, thinking of as the people, just dollar signs and cattle. That's all we are to these people. So,
I've said, if the company's going to die out, let them die.
yeah, this is
die out.
the auto industry all over again. That's my thing. That was the point yesterday when Squab's like, oh, if they create bad stuff, they'll go under. No, they won't. These studios are too important for government propaganda now. They haven't stopped making government propaganda since World War II, in my opinion. They've just been sneakier about it. They haven't stopped blacklisting actors since the McCarthy era, but they're not writing it down. They're being more sneaky. The communists are now in charge.
McCarthy was right.
Yes, McCarthy was right. The inmates are running the asylum. And that's why I'm like, we need more studios, not less.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the thing about it is, you have the YouTubers out now, and they're making some good stuff. Of course, we'll talk later about the box office. Obsession, Backrooms. I'm trying to remember the anime movie that they're working on. YouTubers working on. Of course, the third Winnie the Pooh movie. Some YouTubers on there. Another YouTuber is going to be helming the remake of the Blair Witch Project. To that point, and there's many others that are out there. And then some people say some of the small studios are now eyeing Reddit and YouTube.
I think traditional media has been in denial so long of the new alternate media that they've killed themselves. They've shot themselves in the foot and not have seen. I don't remember the last time I sat down in front of it's been about a year since I actually sat down in front of the TV, picked the remote and turned it on to watch something. I like many other millennials. I hate calling myself that, but I am. And Gen Zers and Gen Alphas, we don't watch traditional TV. My niece, she's 12 years old. Do you think she comes home like we did and turn on the TV and watch cartoons? No, she jumps on her grandma's cell phone and watches YouTube. She goes plays Roblox, which I'm like, oh, I don't like her playing Roblox.
Well, actually, there's a major change coming on Roblox. I just heard it today.
Well, good, because the
way they're going to be handling it.
The CEO of Roblox for the longest time pushed back against anything to stop that.
Yeah, supposedly, I think what it is, like part of it, it's like if you're from 5 to 8 years old, you will not be allowed to chat.
Good.
And then above that, going into the next level till about, I think, 14, 15, I think you're allowed to chat, but minimum. They're going to be minimized.
That'll be something we need to talk about.
Of course, the adult, then it goes into the adult range. It's still unraveling online. Everything has. They're still just putting that together, and the media is just unwrapping, what Roblox just put out just recently. To the point, and I expected that. I expected that from Roblox because Roblox is getting, Roblox is getting a lot of flack in a way which, and I'll say this again, the best tool for protecting kids on the internet, what is it, Outpost? Parenting,
yeah.
Parenting.
I'm not a parent, so
no, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Parenting.
Well, it started when I was young. Parents putting their kids in front of the TV and letting the TV basically raise them. And it's of course evolved where you put your kids in front of tablets or the computer or their cell phones. My niece does not have a cell phone. Her friends, like kids half her age, do, and she wants one. She's always asking for one, and my
They're
parents are
dumb
like,
phones.
"No."
See, the excuse was, and for many years now, since the cell phone, since kids were able to get cell phones and beepers and all that, I need to get in contact with my child. Well, okay, buy them a dumb phone. A dumb phone basically doesn't
Well,
have
you know
access
what?
to the internet. It's
Call
just basically
if you need
Yeah,
to
go
get
ahead.
if you need to get up with them at school, you know what you do? Call the.
I know you
fucking-
dial the school.
I worked in middle school for the past 3 years. We'll never be going back to those hellholes ever again. We had a kid who during homeroom would not get off his cell phone. So we sent him up to the office, and he calls his mom as we were walking up to the office, and you could hear her screaming, "What's up, Stom?" At him. "Don't give her your phone. That's
Hello.
your phone. That's your phone." No, too bad. And this parent ended up Facebooking the teacher, sending a message over Facebook, calling she and I like horrible little trolls whose spouses don't love them. And the teacher actually sent them to the principal. The principal contacted this parent and said, "If you ever come onto our school grounds ever again after this, I will be calling the cops and the district to have you banned for life. Do you understand me?" And she never contacted us again. But you had
go ahead.
you had teachers and admins who did not care, and that's the problem. These little shits, they think they have to have it. No, you fucking don't.
So let's get Snob up to date. Snob, of course, obviously, you know that the Paramount merger from the U.S. regulatories has been approved. To the point. It's also now the next thing is that a bunch of states now are looking to try to stop this. That's where we are at right now.
And it's California, New York.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, obviously.
Now, are they wanting to
Obviously.
stop it or wanting to get to go through California? New
No,
York?
no. They want to stop it.
Okay,
They want to stop the situation
of course they do.
to that point. You know, and what we were saying earlier, Snob, is that the major thing is that that pissed off a lot of the those on the left was that David Ellison was over at the UFC White House event, and it was carried on Paramount live.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
I mean a network or a group that is paid to broadcasted something. Whatever shall we do?
Yep. Whatever
My
shall we
stars.
do until that point?
I am flabbergasted.
Just aghast.
Don't these people understand that these business people are going to kiss up to whoever is the president, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, because they want
No, they don't.
they want to
do
be
not.
dealt. They want to get special access and shit.
They don't, because their hatred for the current president is too strong. It
Oh, yeah.
blinds them to everything.
Yeah, you came in late or early on. We just broke news. The SPLC has just been indicted.
Oh, really? Oh, they
Yeah.
for that. The same thing that they were talking about a couple weeks ago. They've been
Yep.
Yeah.
They got indicted today, and now a major investigation on the governor of California. And the funny part is that with the governor of California, not to get too political on this episode, is that basically the investigation started during the previous administration.
Mhm.
during the
This
Biden
is not
administration.
this is not a new investigation. This was started during the Biden DOJ. It's just that freaking
Yeah.
Trump's DOJ has now taken the reins of it and moving forward.
That's interesting.
It's a shame. Some of these various groups, they start out with they start out years ago with good intentions, and somehow that slowly morphs into this kind of thing. wire fraud.
Yeah. And like we were saying before, with Paramount and all that. And the thing is, with the merger type situations, and there's some mistakes that Paramount has made, like Taylor Sheridan. How could they let Taylor Sheridan go over to Peacock in 2029, take all the shows with him? Because now you got, Tulsa King's coming out with this season. It should be coming out soon. Actually, there's a little bit of a question because of the tax incentive, they're moving the entire production to New York for season 5, which a lot of people are not happy. The show's called Tulsa King. The show's called Tulsa King.
He's going to be New York King, right?
No, they're just moving the part of the story to New York.
The production, not the story.
Not the
Or they-
no, they're
or-
moving the production to New York. They are moving the production to New York,
Back to New York.
Okay.
but they're moving the story to New York as well.
Okay, so he's going back to New York.
Yeah, that's the story. He's going back. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Well, that
that's
can
what it
make
says.
sense.
and then
Yeah,
Sam
it kinda makes
Jackson's
sense 'cause
version.
he's
Sam Jackson's version, which I think they changed the name on that, is in straight production now. Then you have the Billy Bob Thornton one, Landman, which is
Landman. Yeah.
hands down one of the best shows out now. If you haven't seen it, then you have the other one with Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren, the mafia one that's going on. Has a lot of controversy behind it now. May not make it to will make it to season 3. May not make it to season 4. To that point. Of course, and then Paramount's got UFC now. Instead of going through pay-per-view, you can see UFC on Paramount Plus.
Really? Wow, that'll be a big boon for I think for UFC becoming more
The numbers are
mainstream,
still not out. Excuse me, for Sunday, but according to some people, it blew a record, a massive record. So the numbers are going to be high. It's supposedly going to be really high on Sunday's event. So
it makes sense. It was at the White House, and it's summer 250, the whole thing.
Yeah, and considering all the crazy things happen, I don't know if you heard. They tried to shut it down. Someone tried to run a bomb into the White House that night. We're just now hearing from the FBI what happened.
That was kept quiet, or that was
till I think this morning, because they said there was some group of people that basically they wanted to send a bomb in, have the people run out, and they had snipers ready to shoot anybody coming out of the White House.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, I figured there'd be.
I didn't say surprising. I said stupid. No, you're right. It's not surprising, but it is stupid.
Surprised there was only one.
Mm-hmm. But also,
they must all got together and they picked their best plan and stuck with that.
And as we said earlier, me and Outpost, we were talking this earlier. Paramount is now they're talking about they're selling one of the kids' channels because the EU is sort of to the point where you're gonna be a big major competition under our rules and stuff like that. So get rid of Nickelodeon or get rid of Cartoon Network or get rid of both. To that point, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. For the reason is, I think most likely Nickelodeon may go. In a way, the channel itself may go away because the way they're saying it's the channel doesn't mean the content on the channel can't be moved over to Cartoon Network. If you get what my meaning on that, because I think the bigger deal for Paramount through Warner is even though the ratings are low on Cartoon Network Adult Swim, they have the better chance to being more successful because most of their viewers are above the age 17. So you'll cater to them more often. And then your other half, which handles the Paramount Kids stuff and all that, let them handle, like WB Kid type situation. Because we're already
seems to make
seeing
logical sense.
Yeah, we're already seeing there's some articles already coming out that are being put out there, and some of the media sources are putting out videos on this. You're hearing now that parents, the current parents that have younger children under the age of 13, are looking back at older content, and we're talking the old Sesame Street, the old Mr. Rogers, Electric Company, any of the older TV shows for children. Why? Because the politics, because it's too bright and flashy. It's got a lot of the newer stuff has got that, like that, almost like what happened with Pokemon in that episode where it was very, strobe. A lot of the kids stuff today.
Porygon 2.
Yeah.
It was the
Yes.
Porygon episode. Yeah.
And they're saying that a lot of the kids stuff today is almost too flashy.
And you gotta I watched Sesame Street when it first came out. Counting and letters and stuff. That stuff stays the same. It's not like it needs to be advanced. It's changed in 50 years. Now we don't use the numbers 1 to 12. We use some different numbers. It's perfectly, you could show the same stuff again perfectly well.
Yeah, exactly. It some things might have changed just a tad. It's still the same education. It's the same stuff that they're supposed to be teaching in kindergarten and in grade school, which they're not. So parents now figured out, well, if the schools are not teaching it, let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning where they were teaching it.
I had kids who could not even write their names in middle school.
What grade?
6th, 7th.
Oh my
8th.
goodness!
High school, there are kids that can't write their name.
The worst mistake we've made in the past 10 years in the education system was bringing in Chromebooks.
No, actually, the biggest mistake in the education standards was eliminating cursive writing.
That's why I said the last 10 years. They eliminated cursive writing decades ago.
Well, actually, some schools were.
It's been a long
time, but some schools were still using it, and then within the last 15 years, they just phased it out completely.
I think both of you guys are wrong. That the worst problem they do is promoting people when they haven't finished the work and haven't passed the course.
That's too.
Why you have
because teachers.
That's
don't
why you have
teach,
people in grades 6, 7, and 8 who can't.
It looks
write their
bad
own
on the
name.
teachers when they don't have a student pass. So teachers literally they get fed up with these problem kids and just say, "I'm done with them. I'm moving them forward." I've seen it firsthand.
Well, it's not only that.
That's wrong.
The Baltimore school system, and they've done articles on this. They've been doing it for a couple of years now. Is you got kids in high school that are in jail, and they've been promoted to the next grade or put into graduation without being in class.
Yeah.
Why? Because for every kid that they put out, they get more federal and state dollars.
Yeah, it's been fairly. That might have been true with teachers passing the kid because of they wanted to get rid of the kid. That might have been true way back, but pretty much now it's you see the opposite where the teachers complain and it's the administration, the school boards, stuff that's saying.
Why am I being told I'm wrong when I have firsthand experience working with kids just so much as 3 years ago, guys? I've seen this firsthand as little as 3 years ago. They still do this.
Yeah,
I don't know how it is in Canada.
When you're wrong,
I don't. No, I'm not. Stop it. I literally heard a teacher say, "This kid is pissing me off. I'm not going to deal with him another year. He's going on to middle school."
Yeah,
he literally passed off this kid.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying that, but in most cases nowadays, it's the administrations that are and the school boards that are promoting kids who are not.
No, school boards have nothing to do with kids being promoted or not.
Actually, it depends on the state. Outpost, like where you're at. I know.
School boards
know
don't make
very
policies.
Well. It doesn't happen there.
Sure they do.
That is different from what you're saying, Snob. Making policies is different than saying, okay, this kid right here, Joe Schmo over here in 8th grade is going to go on from 8th grade with 3 Fs and a D in all his F's and D's in all his classes, and he's going on to middle school. That's different.
That's still promoting people.
That is what I'm talking about.
That's
Yeah,
promoting.
hold on a second.
No.
PV puts a point here.
They don't do that.
PV puts a point
Snob.
there. I think the No Child Left Behind is an absolutely worst thing to happen to U.S. education. The policy left every child behind. Education standards are dropping year over year. And
Yeah, I would
that
agree
is
with that.
true. I mean, you look, like I said, go back to the Baltimore school system, and it's the perfect example. 85% of the kids in high school alone cannot read, cannot write, cannot do arithmetic in their grade level. They're just passing them on. And in a way, partially, you're right, Outpost, to that point, but also they're looking at it as dollar signs also.
Yeah,
That's what's happening in the Baltimore system. It's not happening in the Florida school system is like what is happening in Baltimore, but like I said, but in Baltimore and certain other states, you're getting, what is it roughly? I'm trying to remember, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per kid, just to get them through through the high school. Whereas other states, you have kids that proficient better in reading, writing, and math, and the school roughly gets about $5,000 per kid, and they do better.
I mean, you get what you incentivize, right? So if you incentivize to pass kids, then you're gonna, if you pay people to pass children, then they will pass the children, right? And it doesn't mean necessarily they'll make sure they know the stuff in order to pass. It means they'll pass them.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember what's going on with the Medicaid fraud and all that on the. You don't think that in the school system there is fraud going on when it comes to passing kids? Yes, there's some teachers out there that are pissed off at some of the kids saying, "Get them the hell out of here." Yeah, understandable.
And I'm sure there's lots of teachers that fight back against the administrative policies that say, "I got to pass this kid," and they're like, "No, this kid's not ready to go."
They will lose their job.
Well, there you go.
No, they don't.
There you go.
They do. They will lose their
Policy.
jobs.
Well, no, in Florida, yes.
You keep moving the football goalpost.
No.
What you say?
Hang on. You got to remember how many times people have been fired. I mean, truly fired for their job in the Florida school system where unions are.
Hi, how are you? That's me.
No, not like you. I'm talking. I said Florida's different. It's a non-union state, correct? There's no unions in Florida for the school system, correct?
There are unions.
There are unions.
No, I worked with the teacher union rep for our district. Nicest lady I ever met. Worked her ass off, but she was fighting an uphill battle. No,
because up here we have rubber rooms. I don't know if you ever heard the rubber rooms
for the teachers.
Do you realize? Look up a YouTuber named Talking Trash and Truth.
Mm-hmm.
She lived in Hoboken. She was the teacher union rep for the entire head of the teacher union for New Jersey. She could tell you some stories.
Oh, I've gotten some stories. A friend of mine who is in the school system. In fact, he's about to sue the school system. And this hasn't been reported out. Like, he just got injured. He was on a school bus. The bus driver passed out from exhaustion. And the bus crashed into another one. He injured, several kids injured. They're trying to keep the whole thing quiet. And
in my district, we just had a guy who he works at our bus barn. That's what we call the district garage. We call it the bus barn. It's where all the school bus drivers, take their buses at the end of the day, and you work on them. He took to the he reported some massive issues, life-threatening issues, and you know what happened to him?
What?
He got fired. And then now there's rumors that he's going to have a whistleblower case against the school district. In the state of Florida, my school district is one of the worst paid in the country.
Yeah, that I agree with
actually. We are out of like 75, between 50 and 75 school districts. I don't remember exactly how many. We are in the upper, we are like 27th out of 50, I think. And with one being the best.
I used to work with a guy back in the 90s when I was working for Macy's down there, which was Burdines at the time. and he worked part time. What he did the rest of the time, he worked for North Miami Beach High School, which was like right behind us at the mall we worked at the 163rd Mall at the time. And yeah, he wasn't paid well. He wasn't paid well, and he used to come in and tell me all the insanities. And we used to get the mall used to get shut down every once in a while because the kids used to be fighting in the bathrooms with knives.
Yeah, we had that problem a lot at my last middle school.
Mm-hmm.
We're 24 out of my school district is 24 out of let me get to the last one. 24 out of it doesn't say. I think about 50, 55, 60 school districts. So
yeah,
and then we're like what we have some of the richest communities in the state, just within hair's breadth. Just across the county line is you ever see the Truman Show?
Yeah,
that's where they filmed it. You had Oprah, you had the Travoltas, you had Michael Jordan, all with mansions along the beach right there. It was utterly contradictory.
Yeah, it's insane. It's an insane system.
Rant.
I mean, up here, it's like if you get in trouble up here in the school system as a teacher, they send you to what they call the rubber room, and you just go there on your regular shift. You sit there, read a newspaper. Now, your case may be going through their court system or whatever your union system and all that. You could be there for years, still getting your paycheck before they adjudicate your
have hundreds of teachers in there.
The what?
Hundreds of teachers in that.
Yep. And they're different accusations, from sexual allegations to standard misconduct, fighting, drugs, all that, not doing your proper job. There's a whole variations on there. And it's been going on for quite some time now. Down outpost, yeah, you get fired down there. In some other states, not easy to get fired. Fired. You would have to do something.
Well, it's
literally that the media would have to pick on heavy for you to get fired.
It's not that we get fired here; it's that we get fired for the smallest infractions. In my district, we have a huge staffing problem in our school system. And I told one of the school board members to his face, he's a personal friend of mine. I told him, I said, if you guys would suck it up and assign 15 more minutes to all the staff in the district, all your staffing problems would disappear, because then we would want to come back. It would be worth it, because that 15 minutes they keep from us so they don't have to pay us full time and give us benefits.
See, and this is why, like we said before, getting back to the Paramount situation, you got parents that they're looking at older TV shows for education now. Think about that for a minute. You're watching your kids what they're watching now and what's happening in the schools, and you're saying, I'm tired of this. I got to find a way of getting something better educated, to the point either pay for private school, which is expensive now these days, like the charter schools and all that, or go the way and find a way of getting some of the old stuff and watch it again. And the thing is, you see this all over the place. Pluto's gotten Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Tubi's got the Sesame Street, the original classic episodes, including episode 1. I wouldn't be surprised. Electric Company, 3-2-1 Contact. You start to see Clifford back up on there, and some of
I love Clifford
and some of the other shows that for years they've been on there. I mean, I went to Catholic school. I went to private school, Catholic school, and there were occasions that they had the teachers would put on PBS at the time for education. If something, because they had a special channel off the UHF band which ran just education during school hours. And they would just turn, if they get a listing of what's coming up on the daily. If they see something that's toward their lesson plan, they go over, click on the TV, and they say, "Okay, kids, watch this."
Do you remember in the Edward Norton Hulk movie, when he was on the run, he was down in Brazil? How did he learn Spanish?
I don't remember on that. How did you learn Spanish?
He learned it by watching Brazilian Sesame Street.
There you go. There you go.
It went from educational television to imagination television. Like, oh, let's play these imaginary games. Like, or how are you feeling? You know, and that's fine. You can use those kind of games to educate, but it became more about playtime than education on shows like Sesame Street and all these PBS shows. I grew up learning science from the Magic School Bus. That's how I learned about like the water cycle, the digestive system,
yeah.
sound waves, and all that kind of stuff. But now they tried to reboot it, and they made it. It wasn't
It's more political.
oh, what was like it was Miss Frizzle's cousin, who's also named Miss Frizzle, took it over, and she's a lesbian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't care. I don't want to know who my teacher's dating. That's why it's like it was so weird as a kid, like running into your teacher outside of school. Like, holy crap, you're in the wild. You're in your civvies. You're in your civilian clothes. This is so freaky.
Oh yeah, it's all this stuff that's come out, and you see it with Paramount, and you see it with Warner, because they're two big major companies that they're coming together to that situation, and you see all this that's happening, and then of course, and I forgot to put it back up on there. I have the hashtag running on here is save Stargate. Well, the reason is you cancel a show, you cancel a TV reboot where you have people. I mean, excuse me, not reboot, sequel. That basically people are looking at, and you have the original people that want to get involved in the production of that, and then they cancel it, and then what do they replace it with? A lot of other weaker shows and stuff that adjourn to what they want, not the fans want, because they don't like the fans. So you could imagine with the education stuff. Oh no, we don't want the education kids on there. We just want to just drive what's going, teach kids this, that, and the other thing to that point. But it's just insane.
It's like what did Jason was talking about Russell T. Davis and his other show he was wanting to do, and how basically he wanted to push an agenda and he wanted to brainwash children. That's absolutely. Like it's that old saying: control the children, control the future.
Yeah, exactly. To that point. But anything more or less, Snob, you want to say about the merger?
Well, I got in late, so I didn't see. I didn't hear what initially you guys were talking about. But I mean, these things are just. It's really hard for me to comment too much on them. They've been going on forever, it seems, and it's just the whole. They're pretty complicated, and with who's doing what to who, and we got to get rid of this piece and that piece. I mean, I usually look at it from a consumer perspective, from my own perspective. Is this going to be better for me or not? And even then, it's not always better for you, but companies are going to merge and do what they do. I know there's back and forth about it. Hollywood doesn't seem to be upset, but it seems they're more upset because they're worried about the effect on their jobs. Like they're not looking out for us. So, I don't know if this is a good thing or not. It's just kind of, we have to go in and see what happens. But that's with any company, right? Anytime some company buys another company, it's only
Disney and Fox mergers wasn't a good match made in heaven. It's been an issue to the situation. It still is an issue.
Yeah.
They haven't done well in the box office. They, all their IPs have been failing left and right.
I'm kind of a as long as there's competition, then I'm not as worried, because then these big companies can die if they don't adapt and change and give the people what they want.
Dave puts it good. By the time the ink is dried, they'll change things again, and nothing gets done. Just mediocre content.
I mean, what do we want as consumers? We just want good entertainment, good content, good storytelling. And I mean, I think that, will we get it with this merger or not? Or will we get better content with the merger or without it? I mean, who knows? It's basically a crapshoot. I think we just need to, be aware, watch what content's coming out, and support stuff that's good that you like, and don't support stuff that you don't. Whether that means buying it or not buying it, or going online and complaining about it or praising it, one of the others.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, this is why you, like I said, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. Obsession, Backrooms, all these movies that are coming out from independent studios, that's doing very well to that point. And you're looking at the stuff that's coming out now. It's Supergirl, Toy Story 5, and all that. It doesn't look good. They don't look good at all.
I'm most interested in Supergirl and see how that.
Have you seen? I forgot to put it up on the system. Have you seen the freaking Zippy Cup that they're freaking putting out for it?
No.
Oh, it's like a cup with her emblem on it with like her hoodie jacket around it, but the hoodie jacket is like flesh color. It's really weird.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I thought that kind of looked like I thought a jacket was brown, but
it is darker. They did it flesh color for some weird reason,
and it looks like some.
Yeah, it looks like something else.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a family.
And then there's another drink cup that's like it's her torso with no arms, no bottom body, just like a bit of front a little bit, and then just like no head.
I saw KFC yesterday is doing like this meal, and they come with a little figurine, like maybe 3-4 inches tall, of the characters.
I saw the crypto was on the bucket.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this type of crypto.
No, I'm not either. But moving on, it is the top of the hour, and guess what time it is?
It's time for crazy stuff.
Yes. Yes, it's time for another edition for the asylum moment. Now, yesterday we talked about this tragedy that hit in Brazil, and basically, about the girl bungee jumping, and they left the cable out that she perished onto that. It's a shame. It's a shame. But I have to say one thing. What the hell is going on in Brazil? Because we got this story where this hiker died falling off a mountain pass, plunged to her death off a Brazilian trail as well. Just a day after that tragedy. She's 59-year-old fell 100 feet to her death. Rosemary Stewart Garcia was hiking in a large group of Grutas de Spar on Marcia on Sunday when she ventured onto a short path near an overlook, lost her balance while lifting her leg to apply insect repellent.
That sounds personal that she did that herself. Like it's not like
yeah. This one sounds more like the other one was just like other people's stupidity. This one just seems like a terrible accident, terrible miscalculation on her part.
But in the same country, that's like it's kind of weird that this would happen a day later.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
bad news comes in threes. There'll be another one tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what is it? Is it dangerous to freaking be on cables in the Brazilian company? I mean, nothing against Brazil.
Yeah,
but
you described it like she was walking on a path and then she just stopped to I don't think this is necessarily a picture representative of what happened. I don't know. Like it seems what you described is she's walking on a path, she stops to put on mosquito repellent and then falls over. But yeah, I don't know.
You always have to be careful around you.
For sure, yeah.
But
come on, when you get old, when you're in your 50s, your balance isn't as good as it used to be.
Watch it.
I know. I always got to, sit down to put my shoes on now or lean against the wall or something.
Yeah, so do I. You know, when I was younger, I was always saying, "Why is everybody using a shoehorn?" And then these days, I'm like,
Where's my shoehorn?
Yeah, where's my shoehorn?
Why is it on the ground always where I can't reach it?
Yeah, exactly.
There should be a
And
shoehorn holder up.
when I used to sell shoes, people used to ask, "Do you sell those really long shoehorns?" They're like,
Yeah,
those
so I don't have
really
to bend
they're
down
about
so
like
low.
they're about the size of a ruler.
Yeah. Why do I gotta reach down to the floor to pick up my shoes? Can't we have a system that my back?
And they have it for socks too now too.
The sock horn?
Well, it's not like a sock horn. What it is, it's a device that you put the sock on it. You slip it on, and then you bring it down. You have the little rope on there. You bring it to your foot, and then you slide it in. You pull the rope, and it slides it on.
Wow. I thought shoehorns were lazy. We are super lazy.
Yeah, I know.
I got to get me one of those.
They're inexpensive. You can find them online.
I know what to
They're
ask.
expensive.
I know what to ask for Father's Day now. A sock horn.
A sock horn. But like I said, this 2 days, and then you have another accident in Brazil.
Yeah, well, guess where I'm not going for my next vacation.
Exactly.
Well, at least
I was like,
not.
I
At
think
least
I'm
not
going to
for the
stay away from
hiking.
Brazil for a bit. Nothing against Brazil, as a beautiful country that it is.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, the bungee jumping thing is just like you had one job, right? Like, what's the most important thing when you're bungee jumping? Make sure the bungee is attached. Like that. If you are running a bungee jumping thing, like the absolute worst thing you could do would be seen to be throwing the person off the, whatever it is, and not attaching them. Like,
it's
I've
like
never
also,
bungee jumped, but I'd be paranoid about that. Are you sure that thing's attached? Like, you've seen some where the rope breaks or something, right? And the person goes,
yeah. Or
plummeting.
make sure that it's long enough towards the straight that that it's not too long or not too short.
Yeah.
There's that episode of The Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
where Hillary's future husband, he proposing her while he's bungee jumping, and basically splat
on live TV.
Based on your weight too, eh? Right?
Yeah, that too.
You're heavier,
never
you tend to go
jump.
farther.
No,
down here in the south along the coast, we have those slingshots. You get in this little thing you're between two towers with bungee cords connect to it, and they pull you back and launch you in the air back and forth. There have been times where they'll start pulling it back, and the bungee, one of the bungees will just fray and tear. And I will never. I live within hair's breadth of like 3 of them, and I will never go on there as long as I live.
You know when bungee jumping got really popular was after the movie To Live and Die in L.A. Because in the beginning of To Live and Die in L.A., William Peterson does a bungee jump before they called it bungee jumping.
Well, remember in Goldeneye, how does he escape from the dam? He bungee jumps off of it.
He bungee jumps off too. Yeah. Yep.
That's my favorite Bond movie.
Yeah. Yep. Good movie. So moving on away from Brazil. The box office. Very interesting weekend. Let me just get to the right graphic.
So touch grass, but just don't touch it by bungee jumping. Just touch it normally.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty much.
Well, of course, we expected Spielberg's movie to be top spot on their disclosure, which, I mean, hearing more and more people saying that this is really an awful movie.
Yeah, I've just, I always listen to the details of the movies to try to, because, look, a couple of the movies on here, Masters of the Universe, there are some people who are saying it was horrible. Some people saying it's really good. And some of them are, I watch a lot of the top YouTuber pop culture, critics. And, there's a few of them that say they loved it and others that say it was horrible. So, there can be taste and you got to listen to the details of it. But the more details I hear about Disclosure, the more I as a science fiction fan, it seems disappointing. It doesn't seem as original as it should be. Lots of like he's phoning it in almost.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that, you look at the numbers and starting off on there, because we don't have Monday's numbers yet. They haven't posted yet. We're talking 44 million. I think they did almost 100. Yeah, be careful there, Outpost. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, 44 million, and I think it's like another 50 million overseas. So about almost like something like 95 million on the total spot on there. But
Still pretty
a
low. Eh? Like,
breakdown,
remember
a
when
U.S.
opening weekends
breakdown
used to
of
be
it.
over
Hang
100
on, before we go
million?
that is when you look at the age group that went to see this movie, 40% were 45 and over. 24% were 25 to 34.
Are you really surprised at that?
No, I'm not.
I mean, Spielberg is kind of a, he's our generation ish.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was, arguably the greatest living filmmaker right now.
Right.
But I think he's losing it.
Yeah. He's losing it. I mean, he dragged out John Williams out of retirement just to do the score.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if he's able to do that, I mean, I love Williams, but what's the Spielberg's his 10 his spotlight collection? Like, look at those movies. All of them are very, very old, right? Like the earliest one. I mean, and those are, generally speaking, those are good movies. The Jurassic Park 94, 92. What's the like they're all old. I think War of the Worlds is like 2000 and something, early 2000s.
Yeah,
that's 20 years ago.
Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T.
Yeah, E.T.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind,
Jaws, Jurassic Park.
Jaws. You go back. Those were great movies then.
Yeah, those are great movies.
Yes, Schindler's List was his. Yeah, Schindler's List.
But they're all from 25 years ago. When was the last time he did a good movie?
No,
he's
War of the Worlds wasn't a great movie.
It was a great movie. I think it's pretty good. It's a little underrated. I don't know if it's in his top 10, but
I wouldn't put it in top 10.
It's not bad.
I know some people
maybe Minority
about
Report would be a better
AI,
one, but
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that was a little weird, but it was definitely different. Like Minority Report would maybe be a better science fiction than War of the Worlds, but War of the Worlds has a good, it's got a very close in look for an alien.
How is War of the Worlds not science fiction?
No, it is science fiction. I'm not.
Oh, I thought you said it's not.
No,
it's not a great science fiction.
It's not it's one of those older stories that has just been done to an inch of its life that needs just to be kind of put on the shelf for a good long time. And
there's a lot of discussion. Like there's some discussion with Disclosure, with comparing it, not comparing it, but War of the Worlds and Close Encounters, and saying that this could have, this movie Disclosure could have not so much drew from those, but there could have been some nods to that, or those two movies were done better in their various niches. This Disclosure kind of shows an aspect of these younger, a close-in look of what these two characters are going through with a potential alien, reveal. But War of the Worlds does that so much better.
Yeah,
and think about it, with Disclosure, they throw in the Catholicism situation, Christianity in that point, and it's like you're trying to hit on Christians in a movie like this. It's well, it's been done. It's been done.
Well, the couple of reviews I saw was that it actually isn't done in this movie, right? They say, there's a one of the characters, the female character, is a former nun, and you expect, okay, well, we're going to get a little bit of philosophical discussion about why this is, what would happen to Christianity and people who believe in God if the aliens were revealed, et cetera, et cetera. But there's none of that there. It's not in there. Oh,
it's not in there, but it's like,
yeah, it's not.
There's certain things that are hidden that in there that are just like thrown at you.
Yeah, but you can't. That's science fiction is supposed to go look into these things, and
there is a way. There is a way, and Outer Limits had done it. The newer Outer Limits episode,
and this movie doesn't do it
right,
which is why it's not good. Not a good movie, right?
Yeah, because they had that whole episode where like aliens come to Earth and they look like demons.
Hmm.
To the point
Well,
that
that's
this priest was the only one that could see it.
Yeah,
I remember one
There's an Arthur C. Clarke novel like that.
Yeah,
Children
That's
of the Mind, which is that
Yeah.
type of idea,
I haven't
which is a
I need to-
great. That would make a great movie. Heck, you could just do Children of the Mind.
I remember an episode of The Outer Limits, where I think it was The Outer Limits, where they use cloning and they get Jesus's DNA from the Shroud of Turin. And David Ogden Stiers, who played Major Winchester in MASH, played in it, and they use science to make the second coming happen by cloning Jesus and inserting the embryo into this young woman. That's the episode I remember.
That would be a cool idea.
It's a good episode.
PB puts up Disclosure Day
see the
didn't
movie?
attack Christianity. It questions people to think the nun told the girl she didn't question her faith. She lost her belief in humanity. But the thing about it is, if you lose your faith in humanity, then you're losing your faith because you have to believe that people, people are part of your faith. That you have to believe in people. You have to trust in people. That's the faith in itself on there. If you can believe in those, you also can believe in God as well. Because you always have to, what they say, turn the cheek. If someone does you wrong, you turn the cheek to that point.
So PB, you saw the movie and you liked it. I mean,
did you like it, PB?
I haven't seen it, but the reviews I saw said that they didn't investigate this much. It was just sort of like, oh yes, we question our faith in humanity, but no deep dive into it, no discussion of it, just sort of a throwaway. And that was one of the criticisms. But
Disclosure Day isn't about fighting the full disclosure and the gift of aliens gave to humanity. It's not a simple trope action film masses wanted. Yeah, I believe that. I do.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see the. Shouldn't you start at Disclosure Day? That should be the first opening scene, and then go from there. Like, it's more interesting as to what would happen if it was disclosed that aliens.
I heard the main actor
how would we react?
Voice the AI like the aliens, and it's like, well, how are you supposed to distort? If they do it manually, you're still doing a distortion of your voice. Are you going to sit there going, to that point? It gets silly, when these people talk, these actors talk on that. Disclosure Day is the attacking of Christianity. It asks asking questions. People don't want to entertain those questions.
Well, if you're saying that the movie actually does, entertain those questions, then it might be better than I thought, because that's what science fiction does, and that's what I'm looking for in my science fiction movies. Some of them, to attack those questions and look at them and make us think.
So moving on to the number 2, let's get on to this. Obsession has done another 19 million to the box office, bringing them to about 188 US. I think they hit the 288, so they're going to hit the 300 mark, guaranteed on there. Which that's a freaking
And,
on their budget line.
They've been 30 days out. They're still in 3,000 theaters, and it's only a weekly change drop of 25%. That's really, low for being their 4th week out, and they're only dropping slightly.
Exactly. PB brings back up again. I thought it was a good film, but it doesn't spoon feed you. This is back on Disclosure. Ask you questions to make you think. I don't follow the crowd. I prefer films that make you think and make you question things.
And that's what good science fiction does.
That's what good. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's interesting. So maybe it's not as bad as some of.
Well, we'll see. We'll see on the second week when this on there. But getting back to Obsession,
I think it's going to drop. But
yeah, here's Obsession. This is what, week 5, week 4,
31 days.
Week 4, and it's still grossing. That's an amazing situation.
25% dropped only from the week before. That's really low.
And it was only 7% last week.
Yeah, that's really low. Like by your 4th week, you expect this thing start to crater like the Mandalorian and Grogu.
And now there's talks for sequel. And then we go over to number 3, Scary Movie which hits off at 14.5 million. Total of 84 million. It'll make its budget, but I think it's about to crater. It's down 74% this week. So I think this might be the last week for it. I think it's going to be gone after this week.
Scary movie.
Especially that you have a big one this week. You got Toy Story 5 kicking off this weekend and a couple other movies onto there. And number 4 is Backrooms, which has tossed on another 11 million, which puts it to 160, which makes it 262 global. They're on their way to a $300 million windfall for them as well. I think their budget was like 10 million. So they're literally in gravy. They're in gravy territory. To the point. And then number 5, Masters of the Universe does another 8.9 million, which is like a 70% drop. They're only at 46 in the US alone.
Yeah, that's not very good.
Now, last numbers I heard. First, I heard $250 million loss. They're talking now $400 million loss if this is on target on their losses. $400 million. And still Amazon saying it's not a failure. People did like it in situations. Well, they're not flocking to the theaters. Oh, we just lost Outpost. I don't know if he'll be back. No, he texted me right now just a minute ago. There is a bad storm hitting him right now. So he may lose power. So he probably lost power. So it's just me and you now.
All right.
Hopefully he'll be back.
I'll try to carry the show.
Yeah.
All my shoulders.
Yeah. Let's see. PB says disclosure is not attacking Christianity. It's just asking. I think we just said that. Mad over being to think. The question.
Well, if PB likes it, maybe it's not as bad as the sense I'm getting from other reviewers.
Yeah,
we're trashing.
So going on a little further, which I don't have on the listing up here, we'll go to the main board from the numbers. Star Wars Mandalorian Grogu hits over to 4.8 million, 52% drop at 165 in the US alone. Yeah. This is literally just a
note how many theaters. 2,600.
Yeah, 1,700 theaters.
2,600.
1,700 theaters now. Yeah, 1,700 right now.
Oh, it says 2,600 on here, but it's down to 17 already.
It's down to 17. This is the current numbers as of.
Okay, so they've dropped. 1790. They've dropped 800 theaters. I mean, now basically this is the end, right? If you can only.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading it wrong. It's 2,600. Okay. Sorry.
So if you.
That's the theater average. The 1,700 was the theater
so if
average.
you can, if you're making, I heard that they're gonna be dropping a bunch of theaters, for next week. Mm-hmm. So if you're making 4 million on 2,600 theaters, that number is gonna drop. There'll be new movies coming in. I think that it's obvious it's on its way down. So they will. Might still be in theaters. They'll drop a bunch of them. Who knows how many? I don't know. But then it's not going to, it's going to make even less, and then that'll be it. It's nowhere. It's going to, I think it's, what's that, 320 or something overall? 320 million, something like that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to break 350, overall. Right? No, I don't. I think it's going to be out of the theaters in 2 weeks. Yeah. They're going to try to stretch this out for 2 weeks. Yeah, I think.
Because, like I said, they got Toy Story, so you got 2 Disney films. You'll have 2 Disney films in the box office
coming in. I think you're right. This is.
And then you got Supergirl.
This movie has 1 or 2 more weekends in the theaters, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But it's going to be. Yeah. This is. I mean, interesting what this says for Star Wars. This movie.
And then you have number 7, which has been a rocket.
Yeah,
it's on its way to the $1 billion mark. Is the Michael Jackson biop, which has done another 4 million. US is 362, and I think it's like 5 something overseas. I mean, they are literally on their way to the $1 billion mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's been in theaters twice as long as Star Wars. It's basically doing the same, or I mean, slightly better in certain indicators, like its drop off is less percentage drop off. It's making more per theater
Right.
than Star Wars. I mean, it's got. I haven't seen it, but it seems like it's got some legs.
Mm-hmm. Now I don't know what the BTS World Tour, and I know it's a concert video on there. It's done 6,200, 6,200,000. Which is like, oh, okay, it's on there. The other one to look at, which is doing okay, is this one out of Vietnam and Hong Kong, which is the Furious, 2.8 million right now, and it's in its first week. It's brand new on there, and you might say, well, that's not a lot. Concerning that it didn't cost that much. I think it cost less than $1 million on that.
It's only in 1,200 studios,
and it's only in 1,200. Still 2,800 for a film like this. And the thing about it is, they were advertising this on Rotten Tomatoes and a couple others. This should have gotten a full. And from what I understand, like Blind Wave was talking about the trailer, and the studio that hey Deeple, that was behind. I think was it Lionsgate? I think it's Lionsgate was behind this for the distribution here. Set them up with their own personal theatrical release. I said, invite your friends, bring your friends. We'll supply the popcorn and drinks and everything like that, and come see the movie. And from what they said, it was a really good action flick.
I mean,
people comparing it to the Raid. If you ever seen the Asian movie The Raid, which is such a fantastic movie.
I like me some good
as far as
martial arts action movies. Done right, they can be quite good.
Right. Are we back? Outpost?
So, still movie of the summer, I guess, so far is still the Super Mario Galaxy movie, right? Still in theaters.
Yeah,
it's got 429 million domestically. Better than Project Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm. And then the other movie, and this one cratered in the box office, is of course something that most people didn't want, was the RuPaul's Stop That Train, which did 2 million on the box office. And considering that the movie cost, I had it here, hang on one second, something like 20 million.
That's not good.
20 million. That's not good. In other words, this is like the drag version of Soul Plane.
Oh, is it?
Because I can see probably where the budget went, all the celebrities that were in this movie.
I mean, it's only 1,100 theaters, but still, it's at 1,700 a theater.
2 million.
That's not, it's not great.
And this is the director of Hairspray. Did this, and then of course, RuPaul. Listen, nothing against RuPaul, but I wouldn't have spent $20 million on something like this. Could have done something a lot cheaper. Not that many celebrities in there. You didn't have to get Sarah Michelle Gellar, pay Buffy the Vampire Slayer to be in there, and many others. And could have did something that might have made some money.
This is Hollywood's problem, eh? They can't seem to budget. How much do we really think this movie's going to make? This much? Okay, then maybe the budget should be half that, right?
Right.
Or less.
Right. But see, here, this is where it gets worse, especially for this movie. Let me bring this up. Another film was released in only 2 theaters, one in New York and one in LA. It is a great, one of my favorite classic films of all time. This is in my top 25 films of all time. Orson Welles and The Third Man. And it made 19,000 in 2 theaters. 11,000 here in New York at the New York Film Forum, and at the New Beverly, 8,000. That's, in a way, those are big numbers.
Yeah, for
your thoughts?
For two theaters, 11 and 8K. I guess that's over a whole weekend, I would assume.
That's from the weekend, yeah. That's from the weekend. That's something that, the media threw that at the bottom of the box office report. You would have not known this unless you read all the entire article, because it didn't appear to the bottom of the article. It was like, oh yeah, you had Stop That There, you had the Furies, you got oh, by the way, The Third Man was re-released into 2 theaters in New York and Los Angeles and did very well.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's surprising, eh?
Very surprising. Very, very surprising on itself. Hold on one second. I think almost been having problems with Restream. Restream crashed on me. Restream crashed on me 1 hour. I couldn't get access to it 1 hour prior to showtime. So it's been a little iffy today. But yeah, this is what's going on with the box office this week. We, like I said, we haven't got the Mondays dailies yet, so that's going to be out soon. Now you may ask for this, but hold on, let me just bring us back on this. Outpost, are you back yet? No, he's having audio problems. Probably had a bit of a surge.
I'm sure he'll let us know.
He'll let us know. Okay, you may ask yourself, this weekend, what's this weekend? Well, like I said, we got Toy Story 5, which is coming to the big screens onto there. This is one a lot of people haven't been talking about. I don't know if it's good or anything like that, but Hugh Jackman is playing Robin Hood, the death of Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out. And then at first I thought, hey, listen, another good horror film that's coming out. And then I read the synopsis and I'm like, oh no. Out of Australia, Leviticus. It is a movie that basically follows, I think, who put it best on there? Yeah, we just lost him again. What was the term somebody said? That what does a gay demon look like? Because literally, this is an LGBTQ type movie.
It's getting a wide release.
Yeah, supposedly it's getting a wide release.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, and it's supposedly like two males fall in love, basically in a all Christian town, and basically they try to resurrect a demon to it's like, yeah.
What movie is it?
Leviticus, the horror film that's coming out from Australia. It'll be out this weekend.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the death of Robin Hood for a second. I'm like, what?
No. We already just said the death of Robin Hood on there.
Yeah, that's the last thing I heard before.
Yeah, the other thing coming out is something called.
That sounds like an interesting concept. I mean, I'm not. It's not necessarily for me, but at least someone's doing something different.
Then there's Girls Like Girls. It says it's a coming of age drama based on the writer. And I think somebody said that. Hold on 1 minute. Was it this one that they said it was like a science fiction? And I said, no, that can't be. Somebody was mentioned. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on 1 minute on here. No, it wasn't this one. It just literally, it's what studio? Focus Features, which has been making some money. That I think that Obsession was theirs, or the Backrooms was theirs. No, Obsession is theirs. And yeah, we have that one. And finally, there's some movie called Color Book. And it's an art house, which now probably be a limited release. Tracking a journey across Atlanta. That's this weekend's movie listing. So if anything to watch on is Toy Story 5, obviously, and The Death of Robin Hood will be the ones to watch this weekend. And of course, obviously, Obsession and Backrooms to see how they would do on there. Oh, one thing I didn't say, The Amazing Circus did another 1.6 million.
Yeah, surprising, eh?
Yeah, 24 million in the box office. I forgot about that. Forgot
Yeah,
totally about that.
Lucky for them there for
Yeah, and looking
you
at
know,
Super
doing so
Mario,
well
I mean,
for a-
yeah, Super Mario, I think is ready to leave the theaters. They're down to about 359,000 with 469 theaters.
yeah, and I was expect that Project Hail Mary should fall off as well. It's 190
Yeah,
pretty
it's,
soon. Those will,
yeah, they're 343.
you know, they've only 200 and 450 theaters, so they'll probably be pushed out for the Supergirls and Toy Stories and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember, because someone was comparing Disclosure Day with Project Hail Mary. They were calling Disclosure Day the Timo Project Hail Mary.
Oh, ouch!
I saw that, and someone in the chat had said that. I was like, on another show, and I was
That's
like, holy,
harsh.
that was pretty harsh to say that. Oh my word on that one too. Yeah, and Terminator was released also. I didn't realize that. Terminator did 2000. $2,000.
Terminator 2, but that's been out for
Oh yeah, but I'm saying it's a re-release.
yeah, but
Re-release the
it's-
new
that's
new,
been 22
4K
weeks
master.
though. That's
Yeah.
22 weeks. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
I think
22
you could
weeks.
just make money releasing a bunch of good old movies from the 80s, right? If you had an independent theater, you just like, you know what? We're going to next 3 weeks we're going to do this weekend we're going to do Back to the Future, and then Back to the Future Part 2, and then 3, like 3 weeks in a row. Like just some of these
Here in New
80s
York, we
movies,
got a
you
bunch
can
of
make
them.
good money. Yeah. New York can sustain that.
Yeah, because we have
an independent theater too, but they put on all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, because we have the Film Forum, we have the Angelica, then we have the IFC Theater, and then there's one other, and it's all in the same territory or area, within the same surrounding area around the village on the Lower Manhattan area. And basically, you'll see lines for a lot of these films. I used to go to the Angelica years ago, and I saw some great films. I saw that Australian Western. I'm trying to remember the name of the Australian Western that I saw that was really good.
The Hugh Jackman, Nicole Kidman one?
No. This was it was basically like if the Australian Western back, and it's the time when they were Australia was turning from a penal colony to an actual colony, and the military was coming in to wipe out all the criminals.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm trying to remember that. I'll bring it up before we.
And they
cut
shot
out here.
every Australian.
Yeah.
They missed a few then.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Because I know there was that Quigley Down Under was with what's his name?
The Proposition, 2005.
I don't remember that one. Never
That
seen
one,
that one.
it's really. I saw it. It's really good. It was beautifully shot for its time period. It's with hold on. Movie. What's it gonna be? Yeah, it's with Guy Pearce, Ray Winston, John Hurt, Emily Watson, Dan Houston. I forgot who was the director on this one. It was screenplayed by Nick Cave, and John Hillcoat was the director on it. Budget was like $2 million on that. I'm trying to remember if it did well on that. I can't pull that up for some reason. But it was a really good film. It was beautifully shot in the outback on that. The other one was
Crocodile Dundee.
No, it wasn't Crocodile Dundee. It's the girl was a woman, and now she became a man just recently, and she's in the Odyssey.
Elliot Page.
Yep. She did a movie, and it was a really good film. Wasn't Juno. Hard Candy. 2005, about the same time period on there. It's about a pedo who invites a 14-year-old girl to the house, played by her, and it becomes to the point where she's there to get revenge on the guy, supposedly that he did something to a friend of hers, and it turns into like a nightmare for the guy. And it's a really good film. The poster cover alone is like a girl in a red hoodie, like Little Red Riding Hood, and then there's like a bear trap underneath her, a giant bear trap.
Mm.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of great films out of the Angelica. You go to the Angelica. It's nice. It's a nice little cozy place with sofas and so you can get a cup of coffee or a cappuccino, or Danish in there to sit there, and then you go in there. And the theaters are not like gigantic big theaters. I think the max hold is like 200 people, I think maximum on the biggest theater there. The smallest I think holds about 100.
So you get a coffee and you talk.
They're standard 35 millimeter screens. They're not, like the super screens that you see today. And it's very comfortable. Same thing with the film forum on there, because Film Forum has Rocky Horror Picture Show at midnight. On their end, IFC Theater, they do a lot of the remasters off the major classics on there, to that point. And the other theater I was talking about, they do a lot of the low end films, but a lot of the real true artsy films. Like you'll see Clockwork Orange in there,
Oh yeah,
in that theater. But yeah, that's New York, and then you have a version of the Angelica on the West Coast as well. In LA, so you have a couple on there. There are a couple cities in between here to LA that have their own, art house, but it's like so far in between. But I've always said that, what it should be, that the giant metroplexes that we have today, yeah, they need to go away, and the art houses need to take over from them. And then, of course, the drive-in, because the drive-ins are slowly starting to come back. As Joe Bob Briggs says, the drive-in never dies.
Yeah, I'm never a big fan of the drive-in personally. Just it's not as comfortable as a theater. And
as long as you have comfortable your car is.
The old, yeah.
If you're not comfortable in your car, then you need to buy a new car.
Can't afford a new car. Come on. No, it's just sitting in this. Maybe in the back. It's. I always prefer the theater myself. Driving movies are for teenagers so they can make out. Play grab ass in the back.
Actually, I was watching a video on YouTube, and I'm trying to remember what state it was. And a guy had bought a drive-in theater for about $1 million. He bought the property, and he's literally making $550,000 a year. In there.
Yeah, they do it differently, right? You've got it comes through your car's speakers now. You don't put that tinny speaker up on the thing.
No, you do it. Yeah, you do it through the AM radio. Yeah.
Well, what we did when I was in college back in the mid 2000s, we would have this company. They had inflatable drive-in movie screens. We'd bring them out they'd hire them, put it out in the field, and they do a double feature, but the audio would be playing over the college radio station. So all you had to do was tune into the radio station. And the clubs, we'd raise money by going through the cars, and people would bring in their beach chairs and sit out in the field, and we'd go through like selling concessions. That's how and we got lucky. My club got to sell popcorn, so we bankrolled those when we did those. Can't remember what movies we played.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a lot of people. They want to see classic films. Because what's out.
A lot of good stuff out there.
Right now you got Robert Patrick right now online pushing to get Stargate done. So people want good content, but you got places like Hollywood, the United Kingdom. I mean, the BBC just announced that they're going to take Miyazaki's Studio Ghibli's movie Kiki's Delivery Service, and they're turning into a live action TV series.
They don't need to do that.
No, they don't need to freaking do that. You
A lot
know
of
they're going to
people
butcher
actually-
that.
Talking about speaking of Robert Patrick, people forget he was in Stargate. He did.
Yeah.
He was in the pilot of Stargate Atlantis. He was the original military lead for the Atlantis expedition, but then he gets eaten by a wraith, by an alien. So good, such a good show.
And the company Glitch that owns the Digital Circus, they said you only have 3 days left to see it in the theaters. They just put it out online. So it's Digital Circus is coming out. Toy Story 5 is debuting on Rotten Tomatoes at a 92%.
Really?
Considering that that they're pushing Jesse. I don't know if you've seen like the scene that they threw out there.
That's
It's
the
like,
rumor, right?
yeah,
Jesse's
well,
gonna be
the
the
trailer
hero.
that they put out was a Jesse trailer. I mean, a quick scene was Jesse alone. You didn't see Buzz. You didn't see, you didn't see, the cowboy or anything like that. You didn't see anybody else other than Jesse and a couple of new characters. So, beginning to
it's,
wonder.
I think, I mean, can't really trust Rotten Tomatoes, especially the critics there are often.
Yeah, it's 62 based on 62 reviews.
Yeah, I can't. I can't. I gotta wait to see what the people think.
Now, global
But,
box office is reporting Disclosure Day has crossed the $100 million mark as of yesterday.
Well, that's pretty good then.
But that's worldwide.
I wonder how much it cost to make that film.
Disclosure? Was it 150 million?
People say Emily Blunt is very good in it.
Yeah, some people have said, I mean, it's been a mix. It's been a mix I've been hearing online.
Well, everyone I've heard says that Emily Blunt is very good in it. But that's kind of the highlight of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Well,
maybe
it's
not bad.
There have been some awful films and there have been some good actors in these awful films. So it's not shocking when you hear saying, well, it wasn't that great of a film, but Emily Blunt was really good in it. Okay, that's fine. A lot of the times, when we criticize these movies that are really, I'm not talking Disclosure Day. I'm talking about really bad movies. We're not knocking on the actors unless the actors do a really bad performance, which that does happen too. But a lot of times the scripting is awful. Some people after about a decade or so, they'll say, yeah, looking back on it, yeah, it was not my great performance. I had a bad script, to that point. Yeah. I shouldn't have went with it.
Well, when you look at movies that fail, it's usually the story that is the biggest problem. The actors can affect it positively or negatively, but they're not usually the determining factor. Like, can you think of a movie where you go, wow, that was a great movie, except so and so was so bad and it ruined the movie? Like, those are very few and far between that happens.
Yeah, it's you go to the 80s and you look at a lot of the films in the 1980s, and there were a lot of the VHS era ones that weren't the greatest in the world, but they're cult classics today, and that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Are the films that came out in the last 20 years going to be like cult classics? Maybe some. Not all. I think it would be a lot of those would be more forgettable.
Yeah, not many.
Not many, because it's people in our generation, we will always remember, like we said before, The Third Man. We'll remember The Third Man. We'll remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind. We will remember Jaws, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark. We will remember those movies. Will people remember Disclosure Day? Probably not. Will they remember a lot of the other films that have been out? Masters of the Universe? No. Most people have forgotten the 80s Masters of the Universe if it wasn't mentioned a couple of times with the new releases of the animated version. You know, because they're re-releasing the original classic and the 2000 series also.
Mm.
You know, just
I don't.
trying to see.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have anything that really stands the test of time for the past few years.
I can't think offhand of anything that.
Yeah, currently, let's see, Supergirl's tracking 77 million right now. Current tracking that they're looking
Is
at
that
right now.
higher than it was previously a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, but you know, I've seen just in the last couple of weeks, I've seen sort of like a ping pong, like with Masters of the Universe, it was ping ponging all over the place.
Yeah, it was. It was. Supergirl too. Though the thing with Supergirl is that we've got. Didn't they just release a trailer a couple days ago, which was quite different in tone than the earlier trailers, which
Look
might
like
have,
CW, something off the CW.
But yeah, you think it might, but maybe more in line with Supergirl. Maybe it might have generated some positive. You don't think so?
No, it's you like I said, I keep going back to the Superman the animated series with Supergirl. You know, she had her music score in the series, and it was nothing like a kids type situation. Now, understand, you go to Batman Beyond, to that session, and it has a more of a hip tone to it, a more futuristic hip tone as far as the music, but it fit to that series. You know, and of course, you go back to Batman the animated series. How dark was that? And it would fit perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing with Superman. The Superman trailer, the Superman music itself. These are like superheroes. They're trying to make it like, they're trying to make it all CW-ish. I hate to say it, but that's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. That trailer looks like something, if you looked at it and didn't realize it was coming in the theater, it said, oh shit, is CW going back and doing their shit again? Because that's what it looked like. That's what it sounded like. It didn't sound like a superhero movie. It sounded like, a bunch of teenagers, a teenage frock in 2020.
I just, talking about Supergirl, they should have just done the Superman Batman Apocalypse 2010 animated film.
Beautiful.
Just redid that live action.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. Like Supergirl is, like you've got, I overheard Gary mention one time that, when he ran his comic book store, he said, the only people who bought men are the only ones who bought Supergirl comics. He never saw a girl buy Supergirl ever. And maybe some did, but not in his store. But imagine, you could just do that movie, call it Supergirl Apocalypse, and then you've got Batman in there, you've got Superman in there, you've got Darkseid in there. It's be a very strong entry for her into the, back into the movies. Get her on Themyscira for a little bit with Wonder Woman. There's a scene at the end where she's dressed up like when she's working for Darkseid. She's dressed very sexy, like very, like the bad teenage kid.
Apocalypse, dressed up.
On Apocalypse. Right, yeah. There'd be some, that would be some great battle scenes. I don't know why it's funny. All you need to do is copy a bunch of stuff, and you could do it, and you own the rights to it. You can just copy it. And but no, let's do some stuff about something else.
It's the argument Jason had today on his channel talking about Doctor Who. You're taking something and you're trying to appeal to this little minuscule of people that will never buy your tickets, buy your merch, buy your comics, or anything else that has to deal with it. You're pandering to them. That's not what you want to. When you hear Amazon says, well, we want a Stargate that doesn't pander to the fans. What? Who do you think is going to pay for that? Who do you think is going to buy the merch? Those little bit around people, they're not going to buy it.
It's incredible, eh? Like, a lot of how many products have been made, and someone makes some sort of product and they start selling it, and they think all these people are going to buy it, but then they look back and they find out that all these different group of people are buying it. So what do? They go, okay, well, let's start marketing to those people specifically. If these type of people, let's get more of them. Like they're liking our product. Maybe we should market to them, not trying to market something that they don't like to someone else. It's incredible how Hollywood, for years and years tried to make films that appealed to certain groups or the most people possible. But now they're specifically taking IPs that were very successful, appealed to certain groups, and instead of, and changing it to appeal to a different group, right? I use this example
They
all
call
the
us
time.
problematic because we like a particular IP. They think that, we're the ones causing all these issues. No, we're the ones that are just whipping out our wallets and paying. We are the customer.
Imagine if I took over the Women's Network or the Hallmark Channel and said, "That's it. These stupid Hallmark movies, we're going to make them for men now. I want explosions and gunfights and car chases in every single one."
Yeah, that was Spike TV.
Yeah, actually, that probably would sell. Men would probably flock. But
that was Spike
if I
TV
marketed
as long as it lasted, and then it became the Paramount Network.
Imagine if I marketed to women, though. Hey, come and watch this Hallmark movie now with more guns and explosions and car chases. They'd be like, "What?" And the girl would be, instead of being these empowered woman, she'd be like hanging off some guy who would just tell her what to do, and she'd go, "Okay." I mean, they wouldn't watch it. It's crazy.
Well, you want to hear the funny part is that you go over to anime and manga, and you get to the point that basically they say, well, it's all for you perverts and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff that they're saying that that it's perverted and all that for men are actually women that are seeing it.
Yeah.
And you have to laugh at that.
I have a lot of respect for manga in the sense and anime in Japan because they have all these different types of stories, and they have, somebody write something. I'm going to write a story like this, and it can be right out there, wacky or just very unusual, and they put it out there, and people like it or they don't like it, and they live or die, right? The story lives or dies. I appreciate they seem to have so much, variety, diversity in the types of stories that they're telling. All kinds of, when my kids like that, the D&D dungeon one where the guy cooks stuff, and I'm like, what? Who would like that kind of stuff? They love it. They think it's great, and it's very popular. Right?
I saw a story recently that they were talking about. Remember the Dungeons and Dragons animated series from years ago on CBS?
Yeah, the 80s, early 80s.
Yeah. And someone had brought it up. And they were talking about, and I got to get Jeff in on this, because, of Gygax as far as that, because, that they're involved in that. That the series was canceled not because it had low ratings and all that, and it basically survived what they call it the religious panic.
Satanic panic.
Satanic panic. Thank you. Satanic panic, and all this regulations and all that. It got killed because TSR, basically fell apart, and just basically the Gygax family didn't have any control over it, and the show got canceled. And it was a great show. It was highest in its ratings, as dark as it was. And I love that someone went out, was it early 2000s? They took some audio recordings because they had made some audio recordings of what would have been the last episode by the actual voice actors. They took that and sort of edited some of the episodes together to make it look like it gave it an ending.
Well, if you saw Honor Among Thieves, you would notice another arrival adventuring party looks awfully familiar. Mm-hmm. It's the kids grown up.
You're talking about it in the movie itself, the Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. The person who did this video did mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, they never made it back, and they all actually died in the final maze thing.
Right. In the animated one, they made it back, except the one that was the wizard. He decided to stay behind.
If I play a wizard, I'm gonna have my spell focus be a hat like that. I like
Yeah,
that
that they
idea.
had Venger. Venger was the dungeon master's son.
Yeah, and that.
That's how they ended on there, and it was pretty good. It's on YouTube. You could see it on YouTube, so it is out there on there. So basically, but the thing about it is, it was popular. It was popular with the kid, but the thing about it is, listen, it died out because on that. After that, you know, the freaking regulate the U.S. regulators came in and killed Saturday morning cartoons. You know, and which was-
Finally.
yeah, to that point. But yeah, we're getting to the end. Just to let's do a little what's coming up next. For those of you coming up at 6, and I'm putting it in the chat right now. Dean's channel, Ever Games, they'll be talking about the Wellspring. I think that's it. That's coming up right now at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. You can click on in the chat and go right over to him directly to his channel on there. I know he was supposed to be here today, but he's backed up on a lot of things. He sends his regards to that point. And then, of course, Outpost. Do you have anything coming up?
New show idea called Popcorn Bucket Hole, where I find the worst movies on Rotten Tomatoes and review the crap out of them. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and you got a new score coming too, right?
Yes, got some new music coming. I wrote some lyrics, put it into some AI. I'm transparent. I use AI for the music, but I write the lyrics myself. And so keep an ear out for it.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Jason over at Sci-Fi for Me TV. I believe he is on tomorrow, live from the bunker. I don't know what he's doing tomorrow, but he should be on about 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube as well. Sunday, of course, the new. It's been rebranded. Used to be Tennessee Tabletop. It is now the Bad News Bars. Death Angel Shadows and Cam on there. Death Angels just got back from a gaming con from up here in New York. He's got back. He's got a lot that he's unwrapping. I think tonight he has something live tonight. So do check it out. I think within about an hour or two as well. So
isn't it? He's giving away some stuff. I think.
I think yeah. Kicks.
Maybe
it's like Kickstarter tonight. Yeah, it's like a Kickstarter.
Oh, well, that might be a different day then.
Yeah. So basically, do check it out. The Bad News Bar is on there. And then what's on tomorrow? Stop.
It's Babylon 5, episode 4, falling towards apotheosis, as you mentioned. There's going to be some craziness going on. Yeah, we're going to review that.
Yeah, some
all the
insanity.
usual suspects will be on the show, and Jeff will be back, I think. He'll be on the show, and yeah, we'll go into that.
Me and Outpost will be there.
Yep.
Sorry, what?
Me and Outpost.
Yeah, it's us tomorrow.
Just you, I think. Outpost, you're on for the episode 5 and 6, I think.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, that's right. It's 5 and 6.
Yes,
Sorry.
This is 4. You're on for 5 and 6.
Yes, because those are the big ones.
And yeah, 3, 5, and 6.
And what do you got for Sunday?
I've got
figured it out yet. Huh?
questions. I got to figure it out what I'm doing. Getting topics for the Top Lofty Lounge is the hardest thing because we're trying to get stuff that is not, pop culture. It's not like what happened today and just do it, but we're trying to go a little deeper. But sometimes it can be hard to find a good subject that Cam won't hate, or at least if he'll hate it, at least if he hates it, he'll be funny about it, yeah, so it can be hard.
So Robot Carnival could be in the work? No, kidding.
Robot Carnival, I haven't seen it. We can't do a movie because we just did movie night.
Yeah.
I think maybe Speed Racer for the next movie. There's a lot of people talking about that.
That'd be good. I just got the 4K release on that. Really, it looks.
We might do that for the next movie night, but that'll be a couple weeks. But we need some sort of topic.
It looks fantastic. I mean, when I was looking at it the other day, I was like saying, "Holy crap, this movie looks so good! How did I miss this on a big screen?" Such an underrated movie for its time, and people shit kicked at it, but it's like, you look at it, it's really a homage to the original animated series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you had all the elements in there. I mean, John Goodman was great as Pops.
Yeah, the whole cast was great.
Yeah, they picked a really good cast. See, that's when you sit there and you don't have any DEI or woke or these listings that they're giving to these studios now and says, you got to put this in. You get a good cast like this.
Yeah, just get a good cast and do a good story. That's
Do
all you
the
gotta
job
do.
you're supposed to be, people, to that point. Then, of course, this week, I'm going to continue talking about the Paramount merger tomorrow, more into the Nickelodeon Cartoon Network situation. On Thursday, I'm going to be talking about the replacement for Netflix's mail-in service. There's a new company called DVD Inbox, which is they're basically mailing, I think it starts about like $10 to about $29, depending on how many videos. There's no late fees. You get like 2 to 4 videos depending on, mail them the same way when Netflix at the end was like mail them when you can, mail them back when you can. So that's coming up. And then the other in Minnesota, a company that handled internet and cable service has just literally shut their services out without telling anybody. So you have a community within 5,000 square miles with no internet or cable service at all. So, and I mentioned it, says, where's that $42 billion that Biden set aside to wire the rest of the country?
That area is probably a utopia right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're all throwing flowers and dancing around, and they're probably having a happy.
Well, the thing is, what is it? Cell service is not the greatest in that area. Like where we are in the fortress here, around us, the cell service is like, depending on where you're standing. Like in this building, in the fortress, you go down to the main level of the fortress, and your cell service cranks out. It just literally, it just literally craps out. But we've just made a deal with T-Mobile. We're putting a cell service on top of this on top of the fortress. So our cell service is going to be improving on there. But it goes to show you, there are areas that basically internet sucks and your cell service sucks. So what do you do? Even though you have DirecTV and you got Elon Musk's satellite service, but if you can't pay for that or anything like that, what do you do? You can't even get cable TV if there's no cable services in your area. So that's something to look at. As far as next week, we have the next Tuesday, I have a couple of things on the drawing board. We're also working on a video, either a live stream or video on Leica, the company that is the behind Coraline the movie, which is coming out with a great film called Wildwood that's coming out this fall. It looks gorgeous. It's stop motion animation. We're going to be talking a lot about that and why Hollywood doesn't take advantage of these kind of situations where listen, they're dark stories, but people are enjoying them. They're really well made. These stories have been nominated for Oscars. They may have not done a lot of money. They either broke even or just above in black, but still, they're good movies. There's still classics on there. Why they don't do sequels either? That was the one thing. You're not going to see a Coraline 2, from this studio. And of course, this is coming from the man who's owner on this is the founder of Nike, and his son is part of the production crew on that. So remember, stay curious, stay informed, and most of all, stay mad. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and we will see you next. Bye.